What's going on? It's Big A the Mank Geek. Ignore the hat. I've not shaved my head. I need to shave my head, so I just wore this hat. And man, we've got CB Cebulski. He's the new editor-in-chief at Marvel. It was announced like last week or the week before, can't quite remember. Axel Alonso left. Well, fired, mutually fired, whatever, media spin. Anyway, it's come out recently that CB Cebulski used to write under a pseudonym. That pseudonym was an Asian name, specifically a Japanese name, which was Akira Yoshida, which isn't a big problem. People write under pseudonyms all the time. People even create biographies for those pseudonyms because they don't want the limelight, they don't want the attention to be on them, they just want to write. So they use a pseudonym. That's perfectly fine. People have a problem with this because they're trying to look for a problem. So they had to go through all his history, find this one thing, this one supposedly problematic thing, and now he's guilty of trying to appropriate a culture because some of the stuff that he wrote was to do with like samurai and whatnot, and it was stuff set in Japan. And it's like, literally, he's a weeb. Chill out. Like, there's no malice or anything like that. He's just a bit weeby. He's just into Japanese culture and whatnot. And that appears to be about it. This was even confirmed by Sana Amanat, who works at Marvel. She's like a character development. She came up with Miss Marvel, like Kamala Khan Miss Marvel. But I think her position at Marvel is like some kind of character development thing. And even she was like, yeah, there was no malice or anything like that intended. He's just super into Japanese culture. That's pretty much what she said about it. So all these news articles reporting on it, they need to calm down. It's like the headline that grabbed my attention that I saw was from IO9 Gizmodo, and it says Marvel's new editor-in-chief just admitted that he used a pseudonym years ago to pretend to be Japanese. Now that's kind of taken out of context because a pseudonym isn't who you are. It's not your identity anyway. So I don't think you can purposely say he tried to be Japanese. It's not like he literally was Rachel Dolezal. Like that is not what happened here. He was writing and he just used a different name. Now the IO9 article also, I think it makes the suggestion that like, this is something I've read in other comments as well, that he would steal people's ideas and then present them as Akira Yoshida, which if you don't have any evidence for, you can't say that. So there's no kind of truth there unless you have any evidence to prove that that's what happened. And otherwise it's just an assumption and you're assuming something without any evidence, and you're the one who's going to look a bit like an idiot. Now, for me, like I said, the whole thing, it's a non-issue. Like, he's just a jolly looking, large gentleman who was obviously a bit into anime and like Japanese. I've even heard, and I don't know how true this is, that his wife is Asian, I think Japanese as well. So I'm not saying that makes it okay. And what I'm saying is that he's just a white guy who's quite into Japanese culture. And there's loads of weebs out there. And I bet you right now there's a weeb out there who's like writing stuff under a Japanese pseudonym right now. I can guarantee you. And not only that, but Marvel are totally okay with this because they know about it. He's admitted it to them. They must have known about that before they hired him. And it's weird that people are trying to get him fired for this tiny, tiny, tiny small thing. It's tiny. Yes, it seems a bit extreme to create an entire biography, but it's a pseudonym. You want a pseudonym to appear real. So the fact he created a biography, that's all part of the game at the end of the day. I don't know what people are stressed about. I mean, he himself even came out and said, I stopped writing under the pseudonym of Akira Yoshida after about a year. It wasn't transparent, but it taught me a lot about writing, communication, and pressure. I was young and naive and had a lot to learn back then. But this was all old news that has been dealt with. And now, as Marvel's new editor-in-chief, I'm turning a new page, and I'm excited to start sharing all my Marvel experiences with up-and-coming talent around the globe. And he's like, yo, I did this. It wasn't the smartest thing, and I didn't do it in the smartest way, but it's done. It's known about. Let's just move on. I'm glad he said this and didn't give people an apology, because when you give people an apology these days and you didn't do anything wrong to start off with, you're gonna get eaten alive. And I think he himself knows that. I think he knows that. And yeah, just the whole thing is just silly to me. Like, I don't care. I'm not bothered. Obviously, some people are now really looking into it, and like for example, there's this screenshot of someone who has beef with the stuff that he wrote in regards to like a Wolverine story in Japan and whatnot, and they're saying how problematic it is, or insinuating how problematic it is, because this white guy who used the Japanese pseudonym is now somehow appropriating the culture and exoticizing the culture. And it's just like, I'm not surprised that they had to try and dig something up, but the fact that Sana Amanat has kind of come out in support of him, hopefully that's a sign to anyone else who smelt blood that they probably should back off, because it's not going to happen, you know what I mean? And if she's willing to support him, then maybe others will look at it and go, you know what, I find it problematic, but maybe it's not as problematic as I would like it to be. But anyway, like I said, at least about 3 or 4 times, I think this whole thing is stupid. Let him do the job. Let him be editor-in-chief. If he's crap, then get rid of him. I don't know why people are trying to wish Axel Alonso back. It's not gonna happen, right? It's just not. Let me know what you think of this whole Japanese pseudonym, cultural appropriation, racism thing. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Thank you also, I almost forgot to say thank you to all the new followers that I've got recently from one of my last videos last week. And thank you to everyone who's still here, who subscribed. And so thank you to both new and old, is what I'm trying to say. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.